In the world of ancient Rome, there was no bigger thrill than the sight of gladiators locked in mortal combat inside the colossal amphitheaters. But how did these fighters live? What skills did they possess, and what fates awaited them? Let's dive into the blood-soaked sands of the Roman Empire and discover the raw tales of these legendary warriors. Gladiators were not just fighters, they were celebrities, some revered as heroes and others reviled as merciless killers. In the annals of Roman history, certain names echoed across the ages. Names like Spartacus, whose rebellion against the Roman system became a beacon of hope for the oppressed. Even in the cruel world of the gladiator games, he remains an enduring symbol of courage and defiance. Or consider the mysterious Crixus, said to be one of the greatest gladiators who ever lived. His skills in the arena were the stuff of legend, and his prowess with the sword captivated audiences. His story is a reminder that even in the darkest of times, extraordinary individuals can rise and leave an indelible mark on history. Then there was the enigmatic Antiochus, the Thracian who wowed spectators with his acrobatic fighting style. His mastery of the gladiator arts was matched only by his charisma, and it was this combination that made him a fan favorite during the reign of Rome's most notorious emperor, Caligula. But beyond these famous faces, thousands of other gladiators fought to the death in the heart of Rome. They hailed from diverse backgrounds, including slaves, prisoners of war, and even volunteers. The reasons they stepped into the arena were equally varied, from desperation and freedom to the lure of fame and fortune. And it was here, amidst the roar of the crowd and the clash of steel, that their destinies were sealed. To fully understand the world of gladiators, we must first turn our attention to the Colosseum. This massive amphitheater was more than just a building. It was the stage where the drama of life and death played out daily. Standing as a testament to Rome's architectural prowess and bloodlust, it hosted events that shook the very foundations of the empire. Construction of this iconic structure began in the year 70 AD under the Flavian dynasty, serving as a backdrop to some of the most spectacular public spectacles ever conceived. With a capacity of up to 80,000 spectators, the Colossus offered an immersive experience that drew people from all corners of the empire. As the crowd surged within its walls, eager to witness the upcoming carnage, the gladiators prepared for their moment in the spotlight. The Colossus wasn't just about the fights, though. It was a microcosm of Roman society, bringing together the elite and commoners under the shared experience of the games. Senators and emperors mingled with merchants and slaves, united in their fascination with the unfolding drama. For the Romans, the Colosseum wasn't just a place of bloodshed, it was a community, a space where social boundaries blurred and everyone was a spectator to the spectacle. However, as the centuries passed and the Roman Empire waned, so did the Colossus. Earthquakes and neglect took their toll, and by the Middle Ages it was little more than a ruin. Yet its legacy lived on, inspiring awe in those who explored its crumbling remains, and reminding all who beheld it of the grandeur of ancient Rome. Stepping into the heart of the Colosseum, we find the gladiators preparing for battle. These warriors weren't just mindless killing machines. They were highly skilled athletes, each specializing in a unique fighting style. Some were masters of heavy weapons, delivering crushing blows with maces or axes. Others were swift and agile, relying on speed and finesse to outmaneuver their opponents. Among the most feared gladiators were the Murmillo, heavily armored warriors who charged into battle with swords and shields, their every step shaking the very ground beneath their feet. Then there were the Retiarius, a more nimble breed, equipped with a net and trident, ready to entangle and disarm their foes at the mere flicker of an eyelid. Whether locked in deadly combat with fellow gladiators or pitted against wild beasts, these men displayed incredible strength, strategy, and resilience. But beyond their fighting prowess, gladiators were also performers, their movements choreographed, to enthrall the audience. Every strike, every parry, every lunge was designed not only to defeat the opponent, but to captivate the crowd. In the eyes of the Romans, these warriors weren't just fighters. They were living embodiments of courage, skill, and determination. Now that we've met the gladiators and seen their spectacular battles, let's delve into their everyday lives. Believe it or not, these warriors weren't just killing machines. They were real people with hopes, dreams, and fears just like you and me. Gladiators came from all walks of life, united only by their common destiny. Some were slaves, yearning for freedom. Others were prisoners, seeking a chance at redemption. And some were free men, driven by ambition or the lure of riches. Despite their differences, they forged bonds of brotherhood in the face of danger, finding solace in each other's company as they prepared for the brutal realities that awaited them. Training was no joke. It was a grueling test of endurance, strategy, and skill. Each gladiator honed their abilities, perfecting the art of combat. They sparred with wooden weapons, simulating the feel of real combat, all while learning the intricacies of their chosen fighting style. It wasn't just physical prowess that was important. Mentally, gladiators had to stay sharp, anticipating their opponent's moves and strategizing their own attacks. They studied their foes, understanding their strengths and weaknesses, always looking for an edge. As the day of the games approached, the pressure mounted. Spectators flocked to the Colosseum, eager to witness the upcoming spectacle. The gladiators, decked out in their finest armor, made their grand entrance, each movement watched over by the ruthless gaze of the emperor. In the end, it all came down to a matter of life and death. With every swing of the sword, every thrust of the spear, their fates hung in the balance. The crowd roared, urging them on. But for the gladiators, it wasn't just about the cheers. It was about survival. It was about proving their worth in a world where only the strong could hope to survive. Their stories are a testament to the human spirit, showcasing the incredible feats of bravery, resilience, and determination that have captured the imaginations of people across the ages. Now let's talk about what happened when the fighting was over. For some gladiators, victory was celebrated with adulation from the crowd and the promise of future fame. But for many, the outcome was far from glorious. The loser of a fight wasn't necessarily sent to his death immediately. Sometimes the emperor showed mercy, sparing their lives based on their performance or for other strategic reasons. However, if the gladiator wasn't deemed worthy of mercy, the decision was swift and decisive. A signal from the emperor was all it took, and the executioner would enter the arena, ending the gladiator's life swiftly and mercifully. In the case of female gladiators, things took a different turn. History tells us that women weren't barred from the bloody spectacle of the gladiator games, but their participation was definitely less common. When they did fight, they faced unique challenges and risks. Female gladiators were typically paired against other women or against male gladiators of a lower rank. Regardless of their opponent, these female warriors had to prove themselves time and again, not just to the crowd, but to the male-dominated world of the gladiator games. If they faltered, their reputation and safety could quickly be at risk. Despite these challenges, several female gladiators earned renown for their bravery and skill, leaving their mark on the history of the gladiator games, despite the limited records we have on them. But what happened when their fighting days were over? Much like their male counterparts, female gladiators who survived could enjoy a degree of fame and fortune, often sponsored by wealthy patrons. However, their options for life after the arena were more limited due to societal norms of the time. Many might have chosen to retire and enjoy their earnings, while others may have found roles in training new gladiators or managing gladiator schools. Sadly, some former gladiators might have even been forced back into the ring if financial troubles or other circumstances necessitated it. As the last rays of sunlight painted the sky over the Colosseum, the fate of the gladiators remained uncertain. Those spared by the emperor basked in the cheers of the crowd, their names echoing through the vast amphitheater. but the shadow of the executioner's sword still loomed, a constant reminder of the fragility of their lives. Meanwhile, the defeated gladiators faced a grimmer prospect, the possibility of a swift and brutal end. A single gesture from the emperor was all it took to seal their fate. And as the dust settled on another day of gladiatorial combat, one thing became clear. These warriors' lives were a gamble, a dangerous game of skill, strategy, and sheer luck. They fought not just for survival, but for the fleeting moments of glory in a world where life and death were merely seconds apart. The life of a Roman gladiator was a hard one, filled with peril, sweat, and grit. But their story doesn't end with the fall of the Roman Empire. Their legend continued to echo through the ages, inspiring art, literature, and even modern sporting events. Gladiators lived and died for spectacle, and their legacy continues to echo through history. If you enjoyed this journey into Rome's blood and sand, hit the like button, leave a comment with the story you'd want to see next, and subscribe so you never miss the legends of the past. Until next time, remember, in the heart of every great story lies a world of adventure, intrigue, and unforgettable characters waiting to be discovered.